Okay. I don't know if I'm live on YouTube yet, so give me one momento. And we'll see if that is up and running. Okay. We're up and running. So, I don't know, let me do a sound check. Blah, blah, blah. It's showing something. So, okay. So, Second Life has a data store. If you're a scripter or coder, you know this. And it's basically a database for you. It holds data, grid-wide. Kind of just like I do with my website and my databases. But this is within Second Life, so it saves you the cost of hosting and all that bullshit. And so what I did was I wanted to make a system. I like DJing and stuff, and I wanted to make a system that anyone could go live, and this would, if you look up who is live, it will show you how many people are there and where they're at. And if you open this, these are all clickable links. And so you can go straight to their location, and pretty easy done. And the idea was fans, you could build up people following you, and they could see where you're playing, and they can find other people. And then we have some settings. And if you're a DJ and you have a stream, you can set your stream. And there's also ratings in here. You can rate people. So say there's a DJ you follow, you like, or a performer. It doesn't have to be a DJ. There could be any Second Life performer to be on the circuit and have a following, and everybody can see live where they're at, if they so choose or not. You can turn it on or off. I also made these tip boards that work with it that clubs can put, and basically if I'm a DJ and I log in, it automatically finds my stream within the database and puts it into the land, and it starts playing my stream. And then any tips I get, it sends to me. It tracks a few little things. It has board settings where I can set how much I want to, tip sets or stuff like that as the owner. Or if I'm the DJ, I can put my ratings from this HUD will appear here. By default, they don't, because I don't want people without ratings to feel they're kind of forced into that. So if you were to set, when you log in as a DJ, if you were to say, show my ratings, if you were on the circuit and you had, people gave you 100 rating points, it would show you. And then there's different levels of ratings, classifications, just fun names that I put in there. That show different rating amounts, and you can only be rated by one person once, so the same person can't keep rating you. It's by individual people who rate you. So it's kind of like a fan system, and anyone can use it. A fan can make their own. Anyone can go live. You can become a star today. And then this data center works off of the same system. I'm not going to show too much of my scripts because I'm still working on all this, but I do a lot of notations, do a lot of this stuff. But it's one single script, and it runs the data center, and it will pull any needed information, which is only the stream for now. I'm just building this, so to build it out, I need to keep playing with it and see where it goes. I've been having some people grab versions of it and do some testing, live testing, and that type of thing. So the HUD only runs on 2 scripts. This is the rating center, and this is the core, which goes into my experience memories. And in ratings for points that they gather. Sorry, I'm having a hard time articulating this through my mouth now that I sat down to it. And of course, when they log out, I need to come up with a default picture, but it will. You can save a home stream, so it will return the stream on the LAN back to the home stream when the DJ is done. And this is designed for people that don't want to be there 24/7 within their club, but they have a schedule and they have DJs. And the reality is a DJ could log another one out early or do some asshole move like that. There's safety measures you had to explain to people when they're in their management groups. And that's the thing. You have to be in the group that this is in. So you would set it to a group that's not an open group. You'd set it to a group that only you allow people in. And you would explain to them, do not log into the tip board until the other DJ said it's done, because you're going to automatically log them out and you will log in. And then also anyone in management can log someone out, take control of the stream. You can make it where a percentage of tips go there. You can set your home street. If I wanted to do a cut, I can, or not. Of course, most would be not. 0 would be the way to go. But you have clubs that they rely on partial of those tips as well. And what I notice is these systems are like 15,000 lindens or some crazy shit like that. I'm just going to make it for a couple thousand lindens because it doesn't have a back end that I have to pay for. It can work itself through the Second Life system. And it's like I said, it's grid wide and different owners. So if a DJ played here and he clicked in, it would just log him in. He wouldn't have to put in his URL information. Also, they don't have to use this. If you didn't want to be part of the circuit, you don't have to show those, of course, those stats in your login, and nor do you can be a first-time play and add your stream here as a DJ. So the reality is it allows the club to function without the owner being there, changing the streams to each different DJs and the tip cup to each different one. It's just click and go in. So it's a pretty easy setup. And I've had a lot of fun building it, but there's been a lot of learning in the process of using the data key store, and then also setting rules to how the rating works so people can't cheat the system. There's a lot of do's and don'ts within this, but it's been a really fun experience working on it, and it works great. So it's so far in testing. So we're going to go on to the next step before we ship it and fix it with some textures and a few more add-ons. We need a home texture, of course, that always presents, which I think I'm just going to use the LAN texture that's within the LAN settings. Maybe though it would be smarter to allow them to set their own image, because example, I'm on shared LAN that someone just gives me to put my little studio in, and it shows their LAN in my setup, so their LAN name. So probably be best to let the users set their own home image, just like setting their home stream. But here's the thing: you need to be the landowner to own this and put it down. It can't change the stream by somebody just setting it down and jumping into it. They have to have the rights of the landowner. So you wouldn't set this up unless you owned your own land, which is easy. In Second Life example, this is just rented land. It's just like a little small piece of land on top of it, and we have complete control of all the sound and everything. When you buy land, when you rent land, you want to make sure you're buying it within a sim where you actually purchase a little piece of land. I mean, it's not yours forever, but for as long as you're renting it, you have control of everything from where they land, the image for the land, the description of the land, the sound on the land, the media on the land. If you're renting areas that don't have those controls, do not rent that. You're not going to be happy in the end. You're going to have to ask, can you set the radio for this or that? And it's just a real pain. Where most responsible renting agencies just split the sim up into little lots, and you go up and you buy the land for a linden, and then you pay them monthly or weekly, and if you don't pay them, they just take your name out. You're no longer the landowner. You can't resell it. It doesn't belong to you now, or any of that crazy shit that a lot of new people think. You're just renting it, but it allows you to have access to the controls a real landowner would have. So you have to have that. If you don't have that, it's not going to work. It's not going to be able to change the streams and that type of thing. And that's about it. I just wanted to make this video to go with it because I made a post on the forums trying to explain to people what I had made. And like I said, this is the fan HUD. You can go live, you can go Unlive, Dark. I kind of did everything in a gorge vampire-ish kind of theme, just because I like that stuff. But yeah, it's real easy, and I have to say, this is my second product I made using the Second Life experience and not my normal backend. The reality is, I'm probably going to let my web server go, or maybe not. I don't know. It's up for renewal next month. It only cost me $9 a month, and the honesty is I put a lot of stuff on it. I have like games and everything from phaser games to Second Life games to. I made a Roblox game and I did leaderboards for that, so it has a lot of databases and that type of stuff. So $9 is a small price to pay for my hobby. My Second Life account, everything I pay for through my sales. So it's pretty easy to maintain how everything goes. But at the same time, having a back end with Second Life products is kind of a pain because you always have to maintain that linkage to keep the product relevant. You just can't walk away for a year and let it ride. You're constantly checking your websites and everything else. Where doing these systems is nice because the experience lies within Second Life. Nothing comes out. You don't have the lag of HTMLs coming in and out. That lags the sim. If this was on HTML and this was on, by the way, this does have a little bit of it for catching your profile image. But not to the degree where a constant heartbeat, where it's sending data back, ponging it back and forth from the server to Second Life, which a lot of systems do. And they'll go, oh, it's just a little bit of resource. But when you get 10 people in a region with that little bit of resource, it just snowballs into this big lag monster. And it just makes everything choppy. Where I've noticed using the experience, KPLs is so much cleaner, faster. They work grid wide. You're not, restricted to a region or what have you. And you don't have to opt into the experience to use that database. Your users won't have to, apply, agree to an experience to use this, which is nice because a lot of people are weird about that. It's just an added tool to the experiences. And it's a great one. It holds this, by my numbers, should hold almost 1 million users easily. It's not really the data, it's how much you're retrieving out of it, how much you're in and out of the database. That is the biggest part of this, is not to be in and out of it too much. When I set up the heartbeat for going live on this, well, right now, anyone that checks to see them on live, they are searching the database to see if anyone has a flag for that. And it can list 1,000 people in this if it wanted. But I found different ways to have the value checks and the updates work so it's not constantly in and out and causing any issues. And so far in testing, I threw I have a friend that has 40 bots, and we threw 40 bots on it. And no problem whatsoever. It worked flawlessly. So far, so good. And I think it's the way to go. Like I said, with Second Life products, if you're making things that have a backend and a database, if you need a website for instructions, they're not interacting with it, they're just reading data off of it, of how to use, and you just like the way it looks over a note card, you can get that for free, and it's not going to be a costly part of your build. Where if they're having a database stored on there and everything works off of that linkage, if that server happens to have a bad day, your Second Life products are going to have a bad day. Now, also, Second Life Data Store can have its hiccups as well, but it's a lot more stable than using HTML and pinging all the information back and forth. There are so many times over the years I've run into issues with my either Second Life not wanting to work well with that, or my system not working well with it, and then my product not giving errorless messages to the users. That is not good for selling things. Doesn't work very well. So long term, this is the way to go. Learn the system if you're doing this stuff, if you're scripting in Second Life. Learn the experience tools. they will save you so much money. And as I said, my server is only $9 a month, and I use it for a lot of projects outside of Second Life. So for me, it's fine keeping it, because if it got shut down tomorrow, it won't affect any of my products. I've removed everything from it. Like you said, I've had problems in the past with Second Life and HTMLs kind of blocking one another. And I use GoDaddy services because it's cheap. And they alone have all kinds of separate issues within their system that combats with the Second Life, which is on an AWS system. So it's apples and oranges playing with each other, and there's just a lot of room for error. Where using these types of systems within the experience tools is just the way to go. And I'm going to leave it there on this video. Thank you for watching.